passionate about Cleveland sports.
He's going in! Touchdown!
Browns, Indians, Cavs, the Big Ten, and more.
Cleveland is a city of champions once again!
Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond.
A swing and a drive! To deep right!
Here are your hosts, Andy Billman and Jarid Foster.
Hey everybody, hello and welcome. Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond. He's Andy Billman, I'm Jarid Watson, and this podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out, original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Also, if you didn't know by now, you should. We broadcast live on Facebook at facebook.com/Cleveland and beyond. Well, great win for the Browns, in my opinion. I'm assuming Andy agrees. Him and the Browns, Baker, and the boys came from behind in the fourth quarter with a victory over the Buffalo Bills, 19-16. The score was about what we thought it would be. The outcome was a little bit different in a good way, obviously. Chubb and Hunt looked to be a dynamic duo in the backfield. And I think we can officially announce that Denzel Ward is back. Yes, absolutely. He played another great game for the Browns. Yes, the Browns had struggled scoring inside the 3-yard line. Oh, God. We're going to relive that fun. Both lines had a hard time with Buffalo. And the Browns are still running, empty formations that led to a safety on. God bless, led to that safety. But a win is a win. Let me keep saying that. A win is a win. And they're hard to come by in this NFL, as we know. Not long for celebrating, though, because the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming to Cleveland on Thursday night. I'm not emotionally ready for that one, but we'll get there. The Cavs are on a winning streak. Yes, 2 games in a row as they took the Knicks. Oh, man. And the Knicks are a mess right now. That loss has about blown that organization up from what it seems like now.
When you have an emergency press conference after a loss on a Sunday night game, not good.
And let's also recognize this. This is the first time in a decade, folks, that the Browns and the Cavs both won on a Sunday. It's been 10 years. 10 years.
Wow, I didn't know that. Good
since
stat.
The Browns and the Cavs won on a Sunday. So Sexton had himself a night with the Cavs in that Knicks game, 31 points. That's a career high for himself. And we're going to talk a little college football. The Buckeyes, I had a bartender at Buffalo Wild Wings. I went in to get my Veterans Day wings, and I sat at the bar, and I'm all Buckeyed out, of course. And over in Annapolis is where we were at, and the poor guy looked at me and said, did you really have to – did the Buckeyes really have to do that to us on Saturday? I said, did you really think anything else was going to happen? My goodness.
Yeah, seriously.
The Terps are bad. So, yeah, they roll without Chase Young, and Bama goes down to LSU. Well, I can't wait to talk more about that. But first, your Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns.
Look, it was a big win. But if we're all being honest here, there was a small moment in that final drive where Mayfield looked like a pitch. It was a throw. It looked like the Bills had returned a fumble. In fact, everybody, including the television guys, thought it was a touchdown. It was taken back. And then I think Baker, at that point, really redeemed himself and made 2 of the biggest throws. The second and 6, the big dart to Landry to get him inside the 10. He stepped into the pocket. He got nailed on that play, but he made a big throw on that play that really – it was one of his biggest throws in his career. And then 2 plays later, after a timeout, which I think was a gift to the Browns need time to reflect and do good things in the red zone. That gave him a breath. And by the way, the Bills made a good timeout there. They're trying to stop the clock. So I understand the timeout. I didn't think the Bills made a bad timeout there. But that was a good thing for the Browns. And then Baker hits Higgins. That, and then, touchdown, and away we go. Missed field, all that. But that was such a huge moment for Baker Mayfield. Because I was preparing to do myself with this tonight saying, well, are we starting to question Baker? Are we starting to wonder where Baker's going from here? Because it was feeling like in that kind of game, it's like, gosh, like he's not playing terrible, but he's just not elevating this to victory. He isn't doing enough. And to see that play being run back to the end zone for the Bills for a touchdown, well, I was hitting the panic button. I was really freaking out. So kudos to Baker. This was his, I don't know if this was a wake-up call. I hope it was. But those last 2 throws, Jarid, looked like the Baker we knew.
I need to go through this now. I was going to save it for later, but I really want to go over these notes that I wrote down now, and they're all just some quick thoughts that I had. throughout the day, because I'm going to start with this. I need to address this complaining after a win. This shit's got to stop. I'm sorry, but this shit's got to stop. Whether it be the personalities on Cleveland sports media back in Cleveland, whether it be the fans that are calling in and acting like they did when the Cavs were rolling all the time and the Browns aren't rolling. But you know what I mean, where they're taking wins for granted, stuff like that, and looking at all of it's like they just want to pick scabs. They just want to pick scabs. And here's why I feel that this win is different. Was it as pretty as the Baltimore win? No, it wasn't. It was not as pretty. It was not as complete. Was it as terrible as the Jets win? Absolutely not. It was far from being that bad. The issues are still there with play calling, with them being down at the goal line. But as you just noted, regarding that little shovel pass forward, that thank God it was a pass, that mistake there with them not being able to score inside the red zone, all those struggles, right? This team never quit, period. That's big, in my opinion. Any other Cleveland Browns team from any other year would have folded, except for maybe last season. And that even depends on what part of the season. So let's start there. That's first. Second of all, there were no turnovers. So you can't bitch about that. Chubb had 116 yards. Can't bitch about that. They had a balanced offense. Completely even on running the ball and passing the ball, wasn't it? Close?
About the same.
All right, I'm going to have to go back and look at them.
How about this?
It was pretty balanced. Fewer penalties. 10 penalties in the past two games. They no longer lead the league.
Yep.
Hunt fits right in and really look good blocking. And that was big. And we're going to talk more about that too, because with this 2-back set and the Browns running that 2-back set at about 40% of the plays on Sunday, that's way above the average in the NFL. And that might be a part of them finding their identity. They held the Bills to how many points? 16? Cool. Let's see. What other things? Oh, there was an actual game-winning drive where they killed 5 minutes of clock and did that. And who's the one who had the game-winning touchdown catch? Hollywood Higgins, because Callaway wasn't in. So for all the people that want to talk about all the things that the Browns did wrong on Sunday, there's a list of everything that you can sit there and pick at if you want. I'd rather relive the list that I just rattled off because it's bullshit, Andy, the way that people acted today to each other on social media, on phone calls into Cleveland sports radio, and the way that some of those hosts were acting about that game. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. Be happy that they won. Like, what is the problem? And they look improved.
They look better. They do look improved. The two back thing's great. I guess the thing is, Jared, it all looked lost when Baker looked like he fumbled that ball in the end zone. It is hard to they won. They won the game. The defense did enough to cause a late field goal. God bless Brian Daboll, that terrible offensive coordinator is now the offensive coordinator for the Bills, who called some strange play calls in that game. All right, fine. I do agree with you about this thing. The Browns needed this kind of win, actually.
The Bills were 6-2 coming into this week. They were doing everything right.
And the offensive defensive lines for the Browns got pushed around all game. They just could not. They really had a hard time in this game. So we'll get to it in a second. That last drive, though, to echo Jared's point completely. That last drive was so needed and such a good thing because we all thought the game was lost. We all thought the game was over. And then to watch on that third down, Mayfield zips a pass to Hunt, first down. Chubb with a big gain. 2 plays later, Mayfield Landry. That was the throw. I know the Higgins touchdown was the sexy one.
Well, I got to tell you,
throw of the year was Mayfield to Landry with 24 yards. That was
how he found that ball like a center fielder, running backwards, over the shoulder and finding it on towards the sideline. Ridiculous.
Great throw, great catch. Baker played good in this game. Didn't play great. He played good. But because of the win, it's a great day for Baker Mayfield. He needed that win. He led this team to a great drive. And I do agree with Jared for all this stuff. I think this fan base has been beaten down so much in this 4-game losing streak that I won't say I agree with it, but but I understand why you probably heard some of that today.
Yeah,
Is that
it's everyone is my point. You know, we're coming off of having to cut a guy. I mean, it's players, it's media, and it's fans. It's all three sniping at each other, bitching and picking, and I mean, it's just stop. It needs to stop.
Well, no, I agree. And by the way, the Browns should have a couple times in that game put more points on the board.
Oh yeah,
we all know that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, in fairness too, if Baker and I mean this, Jared, if Baker would not have completed that drive, there would have been a tough Monday for Baker. This would have been a tough show.
But he did.
And he got everything done.
And winning teams win games like that.
Scratching and clawing, doing whatever to do. So I think the big thing I take away from this game is, I won't get into that other stuff anymore. So I do agree with you. And the big thing that Cleveland fans need to do is, which I've learned throughout, don't live in the misery. Live in a victory, live in success, and look forward. Don't get too caught up sometimes into what you thought was going to happen. Because we all know, again, I'll repeat, when that play happened, we all watched it, unless you were in the stadium. Everybody, including the announcers, thought it was a fumble, and the Bills had taken it back to the end zone. Like, I was texting Jared, I'm like, oh, fuck. This is really bad. Like, this is not.
Well, and again, from the way that they explained it afterwards, is there's a reason, there's a purpose for that type of play. And that's if there is a mix-up in the handoff, then it's a fumble. But because you're doing the little shovel forward, it becomes a pass. And that way, if it's dropped, it's an incomplete pass.
Right. Here's my hint of warning for the Browns. We're going to get, I don't want to steal my thunder, but I actually want to jump ahead. I'm done with these three fucking things. Empty backfield, pitch plays like that.
Yeah.
And I'm done with bubble screens behind the line of scrimmage. I'm done with these plays. They don't work. I'm tired of it. And I'm going to be honest with you. I heard the same from Kitchens. I heard the same from Mayfield. Guys, fine. But take that play and rip it the fuck up. Because God forbid they look at it in somewhere in New York and go, you know what? Play stands.
Which we know, as soon as you leave it in the hands of those in New York, you're asking for it.
I mean, I don't want to hear this confidence like, we knew it was going to get overturned. Don't do that. Because everybody in the field thought it was, and in live play, we all did. Now, look, it was overturned. It's fine. But the pitch play, empty fucking backfield, and bubble screens.
Well, and how about this? Out. You don't have the offensive line or a fullback. Don't stack the box.
Oh, by the way,
don't stack the box on the 1 yard line. You're not pushing anyone in.
By the way, for everybody who's been saying all year the offensive line stinks, I'm on your train today. That was Chris Hubbard.
Why did they not spread that out?
Oh my gosh! I mean, there is They won.
It was brutal.
They won. They won. We'll get to that in a second. The other thing that you teed up that I want to get into next. So the big thing to me was this winning drive. I think we've hit upon that. And the one thing I want to hit upon one more time, the two throws, obviously touchdown, but that throw to Landry for 24 yards, that was a gutty throw. It was a great catch.
Longest pass of the game.
It was the pass. I really
for the
did.
Browns. Longest pass play of the
game.
And
again, the longest pass play and biggest pass play. And again, Buffalo did the right thing. They called a timeout on 2nd and goal because they had to stop the clock.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that timeout greatly helped the Browns. And you could tell that again, on first down, they almost didn't get the snap off on time. Chubb runs for no yards. It just looked like the Browns had that discombobulated feeling. Then the Bills called time. And again, the Bills made the right call.
So that's still going to be an issue. And I noticed it wasn't an issue for most of the game, but it became an issue late. If I remember correctly, it's they're starting to creep in it at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 late. Are they not getting plays in at soon? Is that really what the problem is? Because
I noted throughout the game, Jared, there's a lot of times now where there's a difference between running the snap late because you're trying to do something where you're either organizing schemes on the field or Baker notices something, he's going to call a different play. And then we are kind of rushed. The Browns always look rushed, and the Browns have to clean that up.
I think that they did for the most part on Sunday, though. I paid close attention to that because what I noticed, and I really have to say this, as much as they struggled to score
Mhm.
for the most, Baker still looked a lot more poised and collected in the pocket for most of the day than he has for a majority of this season. He really did.
I don't agree
And
with
I
you on
think
that.
that I'm going to go back and watch again, but I'm telling you, I felt a lot more confident with him in the pocket this game than I have in a while.
I thought he played better. I don't think he's playing as well as he did last year.
No, he's not
And-
there yet, but that's
and-
okay. I'm not worried about that yet. I needed to see improvements. I needed to see improvements, and I needed to see a win. I saw both of those things.
By the way, I agree with you, but I am so worried about Baker a little bit. And then one thing is that I do want the Browns to start doing, roll him out more. The Browns need to do that. They did that last year,
and they did early. They did early on Sunday,
but they forgot. They forgot. Like they got it.
I know. You're right. They did it early.
Jared,
that first touchdown drive.
The other nitpick thing about Baker that
by the way, 2 touchdown passes against the Bills is more than any other team the rest of the season. Again, I just have to keep hammering these things home, Andy, because it's easy to pick scabs.
No. By the way, the Bills are a good team. They're well coached, and you don't know any of these names except for Josh Allen, but they're well coached. The one other thing about Baker, and I hate to do it, but I'm gonna pick a little scab, not a big one, little one. These balls getting knocked down on the line of scrimmage.
A lot of it. Yeah.
Baker needs to work on that.
Touchdown pass to Higgins almost could have been knocked down.
I know, but he got on his tippy toes and he made the throw. He did. He didn't jump past, but he got on his tippy toes.
It was close, and he had to wrap his arm.
He got it. By the way, he got it. I'm a sports guy. You make the play. The catch should have never been made to Taylor. I'm sorry, Dwight Clark from Montana. It did. It happened. The fingertip doesn't matter. So same thing here. It should have been tipped down by the Bills guy. It didn't get tipped down this time.
Right.
Boom, touchdown.
Right.
Same thing with the Mark Jackson play against the drive. Should have been tipped by Big Daddy. It didn't. Boom, bang, touchdown, Bronco. Hey, it's our time. Our touchdown here. All that to be said, Baker, to Jared's point, I'll hit the Jared Watson drum. He did improve. He looks better. I still think there's things to work on. They need to start rolling him out more. But the bigger thing I took out of this game outside that last drive, the duo of Chubb and Hunt. Not big in this chunt thing, so I'm not going to say that.
Just thinking it.
I don't like it.
I'll let Ken Carmen keep it.
No,
I think it's hilarious. I don't feel comfortable saying it.
I think it's dicey. I think it's dicey. I even feel dirty saying what I just did.
I explained it to my wife today, and she just gave me this look like that needs to stop. I'm like,
I'm with her. I don't like it. I just don't. Anyways, whatever. So Chubb and Hunt, they look really good in the backfield. Kareem Hunt, it didn't even look like he's suspended for so long. He played with passion. Chubb always plays with passion. The yards say for themselves. 20 carries, 116, he hit it. And by the way, Hunt only had 4, but he had 30 yards on 4 carries. He only had 4 carries, he had 30 yards. 7 receptions, 44 yards.
He's legit. You put him out as a wide receiver.
Look, Chubb and Hunt, I'm going to pound this. We did our Baker thing. I know what you're right. Like if the disparity was better, but they were still 12 more passes than runs.
Jarid, really that much?
Yes. I want to see more Chubb. I want to see more
probably
Hunt.
Last drive, but yeah,
I want to see more of those guys. I want to see 4 carries for Chubb. Chubb had the perfect amount. 20 carries is his number. I like 20. I want to see Kareem more 8 to 12. I want to see Kareem more 8 to 12 carries. It's
going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
they're going to. And because here's the other thing, another improvement that I'm taking away from Sunday. Targets to Odell. He was covered really well all day, right? And that's fine because you know what? If they think you're going to go to him, which a lot of teams haven't had to worry about that with the Browns. If they think you're going to go to him, which the Browns did, you're going to open up for other players on the field.
Well, I was going to do that.
You're going to get those passes to Harris.
I was going to say
your tight ends, and that opened up.
By the way, I don't
want
the ball to go to Harris. I want the ball to go to Landry, the Hunt, the Higgins.
You're not getting my point. You're able to sneak those in.
By the way, you're right. Look, I was going to say this, so I love what you're saying. Beckham actually played a big role in this game, and it wasn't his catches. But because of all that, Landry got off. Hunt went off. For the first time you now in the passing game have a triangle. Because for whatever reasons, which we'll get to last, we need to talk about it. It's not positive, but we need to talk about the Higgins-Callaway thing. We'll save that to the end. But right now, you basically got 4 big stars. Landry, Beckham, Chubb, and Hunt. Those 4 guys, if you get them going like you did on Sunday, look, the Browns, it wasn't sexy, but the Bills played really well. And the defense and offensive line for the Browns, I don't know what happened. They played. I mean, the offensive line.
Miles was doubled up all game. And he was able to get by on that a little better than I expected to. But yeah, the rest of that
Ogunjobi, it was rough. Chad Thomas. I mean, it was bad. It was bad.
I will say Schobert came up big again in another spot.
Wilson played better. Had a good game.
Mac Wilson he's making his steps, and you're right. Ward's really
back
good. Beyond the pass interference call, the one PI he got, which
I thought that was fair. And by the way, I don't care about that stuff because Denzel does.
Well, my point was he couldn't really do much about it. They got their legs tangled up, and it was no big deal.
No, by the way, I don't care about that. Like Denzel Ward's playing at the level that we saw him last year in those first 8 games. He's back. That's great.
Not playing scared.
Not playing scared. All right, real quickly, the defense line. We'll go back to offense.
Yeah, sorry.
Myles Garrett aside. I don't want to talk about him. But that defensive line can't do that much longer because Allen had all day to throw. In the second half, it was alarming. I mean, they had way too much time. And then, again, we have not as much, but I am not going to give it a soft blow today. This offensive line, Hubbard especially, Hubbard had a really rough day, and Jarid, the offensive line at times. Run blocking's fine. I don't know what to say about this passing and blocking at times. It just is not there. At times, it looks like Baker has so much traffic in front of his face. They're going to have to roll him out. I don't know. I don't know why last year they rolled out so much with him and he did so well. And this year they're making him stay in the pocket. I don't mind to do that you got to do that sometimes. That play to Landry, he stood in the pocket. So I get that. But Jared, this offensive line can't help out Baker right now in pass plays. The passes get bat down, or there's just too much in his face. There's too much traffic. The offensive line, like I said, I have not said it's caused big problems, the overall whatever, but Jared, I will say this now. The offensive line to me, with Hubbard especially, they're going to have to really, really think about what are we going to do about left tackle, yes, but this Hubbard, Jared.
He's got more starts on the team than anyone, right?
Yeah, he just, Jared, it was bad.
Thank God for one of them, though. Bale might have saved Freddie's job.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second. We already talked about Landry, and we talked about OBJ, and we talked about Denzel. So I was actually going to bring this up now. Did this win give any kind of pad to Freddie?
Did it feel like they won as a team despite Freddie a little bit? And again, I'm not picking on Freddie with this, but he really didn't do much to help himself, I don't think.
I thought in this game, the one thing that became very evident to me as the game went on, again, I'll go through it. Empty backfield, pitch plays, weird, empty formations, bubble screens behind the line of scrimmage. None of these things have worked.
Is there ever a reason for them to have an empty backfield?
I don't fucking get it. It leads to safeties. It leads to bad things. And then again, that pitch play.
The safety was.
Again, bunch formation, spread everybody out. As soon as they did that, the Bills go, are you fucking kidding? All right. And they did, and they blitzed them, and you could just see it's like 3, 2, and 1. It was, anyways, tailor-made. Those are the kind of things that Hugh Jackson.
If you're gonna do that, you need to bring in your biggest, baddest MFer on the team and stick him in as a fullback. If you're gonna do that, you cannot do that any other way, Andy.
Jared, this offensive line can't handle those formations. The pitch play in front of the offensive line. This offensive line can't handle that play. Yeah. They can't handle it. The bubble screen that takes forever to set up.
Mhm.
Yes, on normal offense lines that block well, you can do it. This team can't handle those 3 plays. In every fucking game, they run a pitch play. Every fucking game, they run multiple pitch plays. They run multiple screens. And the thing is that they keep saying, oh, I know, we threw the ball forward. Fine. But be mindful. In the Patriot game, it was an interception. These things did happen. And you can't let this shit keep happening. Now, the other big thing. Now I'll get to the answer to the Freddie question. Okay, outside the bookends, the first drive and the last drive, they score touchdowns. This shit in the red zone, especially within inside the 3-yard line, 2-yard line specifically. Jared, I don't know what else to say other than you hit it. Well, I'll hit it. Everybody's hit on it. You need a fullback. You need a blocking tight end, and you've got to do something about pushing the line back. I don't give a. I'm to the point. It's like maybe you bring 2 fullbacks. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care if it doesn't look good. These days of like, we're gonna put up 5 offensive linemen and a passing, receiving tight end, and we're gonna let Chad. I'm like, we, Jared. It was alarming because Nick Chubb's a really good running back. Nick Chubb didn't have a chance in those situations.
No, he definitely wasn't set up for success. Because he'll bounce around looking for the hole in the backfield, and there's just not one going to open up when you've got him bunched like that. They weren't running him straight up the middle. He had nowhere to go. It was ugly. It was ugly and it was painful. Now here's the thing too. Kareem Hunt was on the sideline for all those plays. That's those goal line. They didn't have any goal line plays brought up, drawn up or practiced with Kareem Hunt.
Did you hear Freddie said it today? Did you hear what Freddie said?
No. What did he say?
Freddie was asked this question. I was going to bring it up. It's accurate to say that they didn't practice Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt on the field and together in goal line situations. Our goal line package did not include both of them.
Yeah. I know. Right. So, 1, why? And 2, fix that.
Man.
Fix that now. Thank you. You have 4 days to fix that. So take advantage. 4 days.
To your point, Jared,
you got 4 days to fix it.
How could you not come away from this game thinking on 60% to 70% of your plays, Chubb and Hunt might be on the field or both at all times? And when you get closer in these situations, on third downs, unless Chubb needs a breath, they should be on every third down play. Those 2 guys are factors. I don't care if it's not the modern look. The Browns have something really unique here. I would love this. I don't care if it's a shotgun. Baker with Baker with Chubb and with Hunt with Baker in the middle. Would love it.
Yep.
Love to see that all throughout the game. And by the way, would not mind it if you snapped it directly to Hunt. Would not mind if you snap it directly to Chubb and do fun things. But, to Jared's point, and I was going to drum it home, the days of, I just don't have play formation for hey, buddy, get one in there now. Because you have a new team, and this team is really loaded with talent with Chubb and Hunt. You have something this league doesn't have right now. Use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about air raid. I want to hear about running aid. I don't want to fucking hear air raid anymore. We stink at air raid. We aren't good at it. We have never been good at it. It stinks. Air bomb. Just awful. I'm tired of
Andy.
Tired of it.
I wonder if and this is the bummer of it. Hindsight's 2020. And again, I'm not knocking. I like Freddie. But what I'm also starting to notice, especially when I see Landry, John at Baker on the sidelines, because I know they're all. I didn't think anything of it in a bad way, but you can tell that the temperature's getting raised little by little, right? Little by little, week in and week out, and these players are kind of they're taking it upon themselves is to not beat around this any longer. This wasn't the team, and we didn't know this. This wasn't the team to have a head coach learning on the job.
Well, yeah, and again too. Here's something that I'm sorry from Shermer. Definitely saw it with Shermer. Really saw it with Chud as well towards the end. Definitely saw it with I can't remember his name now. The guy before Hugh Jackson. Patton. Adjustments. When a game happens, make adjustments. When you see things happen during the season, make adjustments. When things go, make adjustments. I've been hearing this term a lot, and I agree with you. I like Freddie, but here's something that Freddie has to stop doing. He is stubborn, and he's locked in these ways that he had these plans from over the summer or whatever. It's like, Fred, this thing is the season's changing now. Things have been developed. Again, I'm making jokes, but I'm serious. Have we seen enough of these bubble fucking screens? Have we seen enough of empty formations? Jared, it hasn't worked all year. Like, how many times do you need to see it? How many times do you need to see a pitch play right in front of the center get blown up? Patriots game last week, many other times. Tired of these plays. And again, Freddie has to start making adjustments to this.
Yeah.
If I keep seeing empty formations, pitch plays, slow running bubble screens, it's not changing. Get rid of these plays. It's okay. No one thinks you're dumb. They're not working out this year. Make adjustments. Jared, if I see this crap again, they're going to lose the Steelers on Thursday. If they keep doing these things, the Steelers are too good. They're too fast on defense. They will not allow the Browns to make up for these ill decisions. The Bills were a good team. That was a good test for the Browns. Don't do this to the hard-hitting Steelers that live on interceptions and are second in the league in sacks. Don't allow it.
I can't wait till prediction time. I'll save it.
I just don't want to see this shit again. We're a team who leads the league, who we can't fucking stand. And by the way, I hope there's a lot of Browns fans, because I can't go now and Jared can't go now. I hope there's a lot of Browns fans who are going to show up to Cleveland. I know there will be filling that stadium, because in the past years of Steelers games, there's always a hint of yellow, or sometimes some more
hint of yellow. It's always more yellow. Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
I hope not to see that on Thursday night.
It's like the stadium's covered in piss every Sunday.
I hope that's not the case. I'm hearing some rumors already. I hope it's not the case. But it'll be interesting to see how much traffic's coming up 76. But again, all that to be said, to the question I alluded to, I think this game bought Freddie only one thing: time. Can Freddie take this time to make adjustments to get this season righted and get this thing going? Because the difference between I see this with where Hugh Jackson is, Hugh didn't have time anymore. Time had ran out, and he was whatever. I will caution, time is going to start running out, though, if you lose the Steelers. You've got to make adjustments, keep the winning streak going, and make this a better team week to week.
Yeah. Yeah.
You bought yourself time.
No, it's a must. It's a must. It really is, Andy. It's a must win. It's a quick turnaround. It's a must win.
Have to win for playoffs, which is crazy, but okay. You got to win too for just getting 2 wins in the books at home. They've only won 1 game at home. The bigger thing is, though, it's rivalry. It's spiritual. It's a big deal. And I'm glad to hear Wilson and other guys acknowledging it. I love how that's being acknowledged again by the Browns. And by the way, I'm sure the Steelers fans don't treat us seriously, and I wouldn't either. We got a lot to prove. We need to win this game. No tie, win.
Yeah.
Big W. It's a huge week.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph is not a good quarterback. You have a big chance to win this game.
Yeah.
Big chance. And by the way, it's going to annoy people. Joe Hayden's playing like a Pro Bowler.
I know. Handing balls to his wife. Well, let me say
he's really playing well this year.
Let me say this
not
too.
Working out. Emmanuel Ogba and Hayden are both playing well.
Isn't Ogba out?
I don't follow the Chiefs. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he's out for the season now. Something happened to him.
Ooh, I'd hate to hear that, but
I know. I'm going to double check it. And oh, by the way, let's be real about this.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Pittsburgh's doing what they're supposed to do. They've won 4 straight, right? The Steelers are winning.
Okay.
So,
yes.
but I will also say this: The Browns should have a winning record right now. The Browns should have beat Seattle. The Browns should have beat the Rams. Like there's games that they should have won. I don't want to go into it all any further than that. So what I'm saying is Pittsburgh did what they were supposed to do against the Rams. The Rams were starting Austin Corbett on their offensive line. They're a mess right now.
That did not work out well.
So
and by the way,
it worked out for us. And I mean,
look, here, I'm going to help you.
I think the Browns are gonna. Oh boy, I want to throw
Ready?
it out there.
So the Steelers were 1-4. They've won 4 straight. They played the Chargers on the road. Then they played 3 home games. The Dolphins. Then they played. Oh crap! I had typed out. I love you too, Jared. They played the Dolphins.
Tell my daughter. Good night.
They played the. Crap! I had this stuff. Hold on, give me a second. This is good live audio here. I know that I don't have any. They had the Dolphins, and I know they beat another. Oh, yeah, I think it was the Bengals. Anyway,
yeah, August got a torn pec, by the way.
Okay. So the Steelers have won 3 in a row. Oh, Colts, Dolphins, Colts, Rams. Okay. And by the way, the Colts in that game lost Jacoby Brissett to an injury. Okay. The Rams, I don't know what is going on with the Rams. They look terrible in that game. I watched a lot of that game. They look terrible.
Yeah.
I will say, though, the Steelers had a lot to do with it in that game. So anyways, all that to be said, okay, whatever. Jared, the big thing I'm worried about in this game
getting comfortable
is the Steelers. I can tell. We need to get comfortable.
My back is killing me, brother. Sorry.
James Conner's coming back. The Steelers are feeling good, as they should. 4 in a row. Back in the playoff hunt. Left for dead. Beat the Chargers, and away we go.
Cool. Get cocky. Bring it to Cleveland. I'm ready. I don't care.
But here's the thing. This is where it's very Jekyll and Hyde. This is where Pittsburgh has come and stomped the Browns. Not just beat them, but like just beat the shit out of them, get out of town. Now, do I think it's going to happen? I don't think they beat the shit out of them. But Jared, like, this is the type of game. This is the type of week where the Steelers come in and they go, we gotcha. And it drives me fucking insane. So I hate the Steelers.
I don't think
let's be honest.
I don't think that's how it's going to happen, Andy.
Well, I will get to that in a second, but I'm telling you, this is teed up. No one thinks the Browns are going to win. Everybody's going to take the Steelers.
Browns are 2.5-point favorites.
Oh, Vegas has got 2.5. So they basically got them even. You get 3 points for them.
Yeah.
Team. So they consider them a half-point underdog. Even Vegas doesn't like the Browns. So they're basically saying take the Steelers. Okay. All right. So they're saying that. All right. There's a lot in this game. Real quickly, going backwards before we go back.
And that's a catch. They're begging people to take the Steelers.
They are, and they will. They will. The one thing I do want to get to that was off the field is Callaway got benched before the game. It has already been said today by Kitchens, and I'll quote, I don't know if he's gotten the message or not, but I'm not wavering about his discipline of Callaway. But what Antonio and I talk about stays between Antonio and I. It does sound like Antonio will be back on Thursday playing. We will see. It will not take Higgins' spot. It'll take Ratley's spot, and nothing is Mr. Ratley, but who cares? Ratley stinks. So Callaway wants to play. It's fine.
6-1 the other.
Yeah, Ratley's awful. Callaway's better than Ratley. But the bigger thing here is the Higgins thing. I hope they start playing Higgins more. I don't, they want to go these two receivers.
For Baker's sake.
For Baker's sake is right. If they want to go 2 running backs and Higgins has to take a seat out, I get that fine. But anytime that there's a 3rd receiver on the field, Jared, I want to see Higgins out there.
Yeah.
I think this Callaway thing, I loved Callaway last year. He improved from game to game. Callaway right now he has really nosedived this year. He's not been focused. Even in games he's making plays, it hasn't been crisp. It's been just not been smooth at all. The bigger thing here, though, is that I hope can happen. I love that Higgins caught the game-winning touchdown. I love that everything is going around. But just like Jared's blowing kisses away to his daughter or to his wife,
no one on the
I really
podcast
I really want Higgins to start. Yeah, it's not, I'm giving bad audio listenable, whatever the fucking word is. But Higgins has got to do one thing, though, and that's play more, be a bigger part of this game. He doesn't need to catch the ball 17 times or 7 times. But 3 to 4 plays a game, I'd like to see the ball. I guess what I'm trying to say is, Jared, I'm done with the Callaway. And honestly, unless it's a blocking tight end, Seals, Jones Jr., Harris, Jared, I got to be honest with you. Browns don't have a tight end. I'd rather see Higgins.
And
out
Joke
there
will be
too.
back in about 2 weeks, I'm guessing.
Oh, boy. I won't hold my breath. I'm not a big fan of this, so we'll see. But
I know.
but I think that's something I want to bring up is I think it's important that Higgins starts playing more. And if Callaway comes back and I see him on the field more, Jared, I'm going to be honest with you, I'll be a little disappointed.
Well, Higgins is the new Duke Johnson of the Cleveland Browns, apparently. Where
that's a great point. Great point.
Underutilized, not the best, but not given the given what he deserves either.
Well said. Well said.
I don't know how else to say it, man. I mean, what are you going to do? The guy has a dream. He's going to win. He's going to have a game-winning touchdown catch, and then does it. And it's the only catch of the day. It was. I think I told you and who else? I told you and somebody else. It was apropos. It was exactly like, yes, of course. Right. You know, it was beautiful. It was redeeming for. I mean, Higgins needed that. Baker needed that.
The team.
The Browns needed that.
The team. The one thing again, we've been hitting the hammer hard on Freddie. And I don't know if this is Freddie or Dorsey, so I'm going to put it on both. They need to start realizing, hey, if Higgins, I don't know what the hell happened. There's a story out in The Athletic that Higgins was asked to go in a game and he didn't against the Seattle Seahawks. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Anybody can read about in The Athletic. But I'll just say this. It is apparent to me from what I can tell by body language and everything else, Higgins is a part of this team. He's a part of this core, and I think it's important he plays right now. It's okay to say Callaway is just maybe not working out right now. Let him sit on the back burner here and let him get his stuff going. Because I'll tell you right now, that Jared to me, forcing Callaway is the same thing as forcing these pitch plays and these empty backfields. I think Callaway right now needs to be playing limited time. And I got to be honest with you, I know in today's NFL you got to do this. Put a blocking tight end in. The days of Seals Jones, I don't know. I've kind of seen enough.
But I mean, they don't. Nothing's being. The team isn't hurt by any of these guys. I mean,
I think they are. I'm being honest. I think they are. I'm just tired of seeing guys go open. And it's like, but we have now that you got Kareem Hunt. Harris, take care. Like, we don't need you.
Well, yeah. I mean, at this point, of course, sure. I mean, yes, at this point, absolutely. So, but I mean, what do you do at this point? What do you do the rest of the season?
I want to see 4 guys on the field all times. OBJ, Landry, Chubb, Hunt. If Chubb needs a break, bring in Higgins. Those are your 4. Quarterback. Hilliard, I got to be honest with you, you're on the last step of getting kicks because he had a really bad day receiving kicks.
Yep.
He struggled.
Brutal with the trying to catch one over his head. That was scary.
He had a bad day. Hilliard.
That was scary.
Look, I don't you know what? I don't even like saying this about Rally too. Rally stinks. Hilliard stinks. Sorry. Not seeing it. I don't understand why. Harris, nice kid, nice guy. Jerry's not good. This team is better than these players. Jared makes a great point. And Juco coming back is a good thing. And Juco being in there, I could understand. I'm not a big fan, but I get it. Harris running down a big pass. I mean, I know. But Harris, I'm good with this. Like, he can't. We got big things going on. We can't have him running around making plays. Like Landry, Beckham, Hunt, Chubb. Let's go. Let's hit it.
I got to be honest. Whoever's making plays, I don't care. Just make plays.
Well, by the way, I'm with you. But these guys I mentioned, the Harrises and the Ratleys and the Hilliards, like they're not.
I'm with you on Ratley. I'm with you on.
Do you want to trust Hilliard in a big spot again?
Oh, hell no. No,
Okay, so Hilliard and
I'm not
Ratley.
with you on Hilliard and Ratley.
Yeah.
I don't mind Harris. I don't mind Seals Jones. I'm indifferent. I just haven't seen enough to not like them.
I don't disagree.
I'm not saying that they're anything special. I'm not saying that they add anything offensively, but if they're open and they catch the ball, thank you very much.
By the way, okay, fine.
That's all I'm saying. If they're open and they catch the ball, thank you.
And Juco, come back. I don't want to see these guys anymore. These guys drive me crazy. But he's right. They are catching the ball and making big plays. Okay. Enough about that, because that will drag down the show. And I don't want to break down Harris and Seals Jones Jr. We've done enough of that. I didn't realize.
Another 20 minutes of that if you want.
All right. So we kind of teed up the Pittsburgh game. It's a quick turnaround. They play in less than 96 hours here. Oh,
boy. Yeah.
So it's a really quick turnaround. Look, here are the key things in this game from the Steelers' perspectives. I watched the majority of the Rams game. Mason Rudolph is your average backup quarterback. He's not going to win you the game.
Cool. Sack his ass, make him make mistakes.
He is comfortable with a couple of wide receivers on his team, so be aware of that. Meaning, when he has to, he can make a throw once in a while.
Cool. Big night from the secondary. That's what we need.
The Steelers' offensive line is not as good as the Bills, so you should get pressure on the ball. The defensive line for the Browns must play better than they did on Sunday.
Yeah.
All around, they stunk.
How long is Vernon out for?
I don't know. That was a late scratch, too. That came out of nowhere this week.
Well, I thought he was hurt.
No, he did, but when we did our podcast going up into Thursday, Vernon was okay. And then all of a sudden, I think it was Friday, right?
Well, the bummer is, I think that had a lot to do with what they did against the Bills and the lack of pressure they were able to get.
Yeah,
I think that made it noticeable, in my opinion.
Yeah, and again, they're lucky. Allen had all day to throw in the second half. I mean, he was eating pizza throwing the ball around. They've got to do a better job with that stuff. Anyways, all right. That's going to be a big thing. James Conner is back. We don't need to relive what he did to us last year. James Conner owns us like Jerome Bonus has owned us, like Le'Veon Bell's owned us. It'd be nice to stop one of these fuckers from the Steelers from running all over us.
I think he'll be all right.
We'll see. And then on offense, we kind of hit upon it. The Browns have overwhelming weapons. The Steelers have not done well in this year against teams with overwhelming weapons. The Colts don't have it. The Dolphins don't have it. And I don't know what to say about the Rams. The Rams are just in a funk right now. Yeah. I don't know if they have Super Bowl hangover or what. Boy, they just don't look good. So all that to be said, the things are aligned. You know, it's funny. 5 weeks ago, there's some of us who are Cleveland fans saying, it's not going to be a big deal if you beat the Steelers. Boy, has that changed in 5 weeks. That just shows you how naive that statements were. And I love some of the people, respect them well, said that. But that was a silly statement at the time, because now 5 weeks later, you can't wait to beat them. It's a huge game. It's a big game. Again, we talked about this Broncos week. These 3 games are individual to me, and I still feel this way. Even though the Browns beat the Bills, I don't think it carries anything over to Thursday. I don't. The Browns have to still make adjustments and keep improving from game to game. All right, I'll let you go first this time. I always go first. So what do you think, Browns, Steelers?
So I believe that the Cleveland Browns begin to start getting some turnovers here. I think the defense gets a couple takeaways. I think that the pressure on Mason Rudolph gets to be too much. And I think that Pittsburgh's going to make mistakes offensively. Whether Baker can lead that to points, I'm still a little bit iffy on. But this is a game, in my opinion, that sets up for the Browns to win 31-16. Let's say 31-17.
All right.
I got 16 on the brain. 31-17 Browns.
I thought before this game that the Browns were going to beat the Steelers anyways. So we did a schedule game, and I always thought the Browns were going to get this game for some reason. So I'm not going to pick against the Browns. I think the Browns are going to win. I think, though, again, as I did in the preseason, I'm going to go back to that. Crazy shit. Steelers are going to come out firing hot. I think the Steelers have this. There's an aura right now. I hate saying this. There's an aura about the Steelers that the Browns really need to evaporate. I would not be surprised if the Steelers go up big in this game early. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 14-0 like that in this game early. The Browns are going to have to come back at some point, in my opinion, to win this game. I think they will. I think they'll have enough in this game. The one that I'm excited about is Mason Rudolph really is not overwhelming. He doesn't do anything big. And honestly, Juju Smith-Schuster, who I do like, he's a good wide receiver. He's not to the level of these guys that we have on our team. If the Browns can just make enough adjustments, put in Kareem Hunt, put in Chubb in good spots, run the ball more than they did this week. I want more 50-50. I think the Browns need to become more 50-50. I'm sorry. The days of them, again, no more air raid, running aid, running the ball. I think it's 2017 Browns. I think they win on a late play. I think it could be on defense or offense. I don't think this is going to be I would love for Mr. Watson to be right. That was a good, comfortable win. We're putting up our feet and drinking champagne late in the fourth quarter. All that to be said. I just don't think that's going to happen here because the one thing that does irk me, the Steelers have a good run up against it, and I'm a believer in this in sports. I think Joe Hayden's going to play with the chip on his shoulder on Thursday. I think he's going to play the big chip on his shoulder.
I don't care if he does.
I don't know. He looked really good on Sunday. I hate to be honest, but
I don't. All right.
Joe's not a bad player.
All right. I just don't see it out of the Steelers team. I don't.
I didn't say they were going to win. I think the Browns are going to win, but I'm telling you.
I don't think they're even going to come out and I don't think they're going to go up early on the Browns.
Oh, boy, I hope you're right.
I don't. I genuinely don't think it's going to happen.
No, I think the Steelers are going to be ready to rock and roll. I hope I'm wrong.
I think this game comes down to the Browns playing clean again, and I think they've got that figured out. I think everything else is starting to fall into place offensively. I think it's slowly
getting there.
falling into place.
I will say this. They're getting there. And again, I'll end on this point. I don't want to de-emphasize what Baker did on those 2 throws in that last drive was monumental for him in his career in Cleveland. It was not going well when he got the ball back. After that reversal, it was not going well. He did a nice job. He got that team in order. He marched them right down the field.
Oh, and can we please next time, Freddie, Coach Wilkes, especially right now, when you go up against a mobile quarterback and they're in the red zone, spy a fucking linebacker, please.
Again, adjustments.
Please. As soon as I saw, this is my biggest gripe of the game. I saw that play coming from a mile away. They were so spread out on the field, and there was no one over the middle keeping an eye on the quarterback.
Nope.
Didn't even. Just a giant hold of the end zone.
Too good.
So don't do that. Don't do that. That's all. I think the Browns win big against Pittsburgh, brother, at home. I think it's going to be a fun game for Browns fans.
Got to be fun for all of us. We talked about the Rams already. The Jets outlast the Giants. This boy, if you don't live in this area in the country, you want to talk about a sad sack. The Giants fan base talking to themselves. When we did this podcast, started
the Giants
off,
and the Knicks.
Knicks are a mess. They are a mess. That is one of the worst. We called that even before then. And how much I do like them, and I really do root for the Pelicans. Pelicans aren't doing well either. I know they lost Zion, but boy, they've had a slow start. Anyways, we'll do NBA here in a second. But Giants are reeling. Packers a goal line stand. Dolphins win 2 in a row. They might be coming in hot to Cleveland. They've won 2 in a row. The other things I observed about this weekend, though, that I do think is a good thing that I wanted to get to real quickly in the NFL. Some of these teams have come back to the Browns for the wild card. The Colts have lost Jacoby Brissett. They've lost some games. The Titans are still at 500. The Chiefs have lost games. The Raiders are right around 500. You know, we talked about the playoffs here, and I still think it's a long shot. I do. I think it's a long shot. I will say, though, for whatever reason, teams except for the Ravens, everybody else has come back to the pack. Everybody's evened out.
Well, even the Steelers have done better than we expected so far.
Again, I don't put much stock into it until Thursday. I do think it's a great litmus. Right. By the way, if I were a neutral fan, I take Thursday's game as a big game to see where the Steelers are really at. Because the Steelers win this game, oh, man, they could roll. They can get hot real quick. And I know people are down on them who are Steelers fans. Tomlin can coach. That is a hell of a job with that team. You watch them play, and it's like, how are they winning? I mean, it is.
Yeah, you thought they were dead to rights, and here they are.
Hey, they lose Roethlisberger in season. They lose Antonio Brown before the season. Le'Veon Bell's been gone for 2 seasons. I mean, you're basically putting in Mason Rudolph and a bunch of guys you never heard of. Even James Conner, who runs the ball well, he's out with an injury. United the Steelers are. It's an amazing job by him. So let's stop that shit, make the yellow towels go away, and let's win that game.
Mm-hmm.
Now talking to another hot flaming ball mess and our benefit. Let's talk about our Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
2 in a row. Beeline's got this team playing hot. 31 by Sexton. There were some people, not us, who thought Sexton was overrated. He's not overrated. That kid can play. And the biggest thing here is, Jared, Sexton hitting big shots against the Wizards on Friday, going off in 31. But you know what the greatest thing is? This team is playing as a team. It's Thompson on Friday night. It's everybody. By the way, on Friday night against the Wizards, everybody scored. Everybody's in double figures. Everybody had a big game. And then there are people I overheard saying, well, I don't know about Darius Garland. Garland played well in Washington, and he played great last night in the Garden. He's playing well. Thompson's playing out of his mind right now. It's just so cool to see.
I saw a number that stood out to me today, and I think I'm right on this. It was with 100 minutes on the floor with their starting 5, they're plus 16.
Oh my gosh,
that's a big deal for this group.
Hey, it's one thing to beat the Knicks, to beat them the way the Cavs did on Sunday night. And by the way, they destroyed it. And by the way, they won comfortably in Washington too. It was tight throughout, but in that game, the Cavs pulled away.
Yeah, I mean, Washington tightened it up late, and then the Cavs pulled it back away.
Well, they pulled away late, but the Cavs pulled away. That always happens in NBA.
Well, they were also up by 20, I think, in the first half at some point too.
Yes. And again, in the NBA, it's not like other sports. You always expect a run. You always know the other team at some point can start hitting shots. Even in the Knicks game, the Cavs were up 30, and the Cavs, before you know it, towards the end of the third quarter, the Knicks had down to 15. So, I mean, it happens in all these games.
Yeah. The Wizards, though, are every bit of a 2-win team, right? I mean, they are just bad. They could not buy a bucket. They for a significant portion of that game where they were in the paint and nothing was dropped. I mean, it was embarrassing.
Well, the thing is too that stood out that I think we're going to start talking about more in this team. The passing is one thing, and they are great passing. The Cavs don't turn the ball over a lot. They really do play as an efficient team. They're doing a great job.
A LeBron-less Cavs team, not turning the ball over.
They're handling the ball so well this season. It's such a clean team. And the one thing, Jared, that I want to hit upon, they love playing together. Mm. Even when this is from via the Athletic, so I don't want to steal the thunder here. Even when Thompson was on the floor, the reporter was quoting. She mentioned he was sitting on the bench supporting his team. During the quarter, Thompson, with 5 minutes left to play, as Larry Nance was called for a foul, he was seen standing and clapping his hands. As Chetty Osman went up for a layup, Thompson again standing up, clapping for the Cavs, and heading back down to defend. Tristan has done a great job leading this team, Love said, taking these guys underneath their wings, continue to have open communication and dialogue. I think that's really helped them, and it's really helped us as well, end quote. The communication dialogue, I've heard that from Love. I've heard that from Thompson. I've heard that from Sexton. All these guys preach and talk about it. Folks, Jared and I came back. I think some people thought we were crazy in May. And we said, we love this hire. John Beeline's a great hire. And we don't know if it's going to equate to big playoff stuff, but this guy's the greatest hire. You know, it's early. And the Cavs have a tough 2-week stretch coming. Tough 2-week stretch. I love where they're playing right now.
I listened to what Coach had to say after the Wizards game the other night, and even that was just motivating. I was so fired up.
Yeah,
because he was recognizing specific players and specific things that they were improving upon that he was noticing and saw throughout that game.
Yep.
That tells you how in touch he is with what's going on the floor and with each one of these players and where they're supposed to be and how they're, their responsibilities. And he was talking a lot about defense too. So Cavs, they're fun to watch. They're fun to watch.
On their way. They
really are. They really are.
You watch this team and you can tell they're figuring things out. They play like a team. And you know what? We love the LeBron years. I love the LeBron years. And he won a championship, and it was fantastic. This team brings a similar joy. Not the LeBron. LeBron elevated everything in Cleveland. He elevated everything. But this team, the only thing I compare it to is kind of like the Indians, where if you're from afar, you probably don't know half these players' names, aside from like a Sexton or someone else. But they play hard, they play the right rate, and it just alludes to this bigger point, Jared. When you have a good coach, good things happen. And that's something the Browns need to remember right now. When you have a good coach, Francona, Beeline, you can make things work, and you can elevate your teams. Yeah. The other guy to end up on real fast is Porter. Porter played wonderfully on Friday. And I think that is a kudos to Beeline. Is that watching the Knicks on Sunday and watching Porter, yes, the talent level, you can argue. Barrett's probably whatever. Porter is actually getting better because he is listening and he's observing and he's taking in the stuff from Beeline. It's wonderful to see.
Are they going to get the 8 seed?
Let's talk in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, here we go. I'm not going to pour too much cold water, but it's reality water. At Philly on Tuesday, Miami at home on Thursday, Philly on Sunday with a back-to-back going back to New York on Monday. And then they have another back-to-back game with the Mavericks and the Blazers the following week. Tough games, Jared.
Boy,
these are tough games.
I'd love to have a reason to get tickets to go watch them in February over at down at Capital One Arena.
Yep. I was about to say the MCI Center, but it hasn't been the MCI Center for a long time.
Yeah, no, they're coming back. They come back to play the Wizards in February, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Knicks again in a week from now. They play next Monday.
Good. I want to play the Knicks every week.
I know. But the one thing that I just can't overstate, there's another thing they talked about too in the Athletic. The woman reporter for the Athletic, I gotta get her name. She's doing a great job so far. She does the Cavs beat. Beeline also talked about working with Garland and Porter. These are guys in the past, Jared, who we would see, and we wouldn't really know how the development's going because they'd be helter-skelter, and it felt like they were isolated on these islands. And I'm not saying the LeBron years. Let's go to the Mike Brown years. Let's go to guys who we saw. It's like, boy, I don't know if these players are developing. Already 9 games in, Garland looks better. Porter looks better.
Oh, yeah.
Sexton looks significantly better.
Andy, yeah, it's not like we were watching. You remember the Cavs weren't fun to watch when it was just when Kyrie was there, when it was Kyrie and
look,
that was not a fun team to watch.
Look, I'm going to go a step further.
It was brutal.
It's brutal. Last year with Ty Lue and Drew, nothing against those guys. Jared is bad. It was bad. I mean, it was.
Well, I mean,
score reading.
We had injuries that really hurt early on for the rest of that season. But I got to tell you, this might have been the best thing to happen to this team.
Oh my gosh!
Because what they are able to do now is really build on some things and put themselves in a position where. Are we going to talk about? Are they going to have a lot of assets? Like those Boston teams that we love talking about all the time.
The Pelicans have so many assets. They're counting them as they lose games. Look, if people don't know, I think the term assets and how we got a draft pick for play. I'm not that guy. I'm done with that shit. But we traded Avery for a 5th round pick. Whoop-de fucking do. Okay? And I'm going to tell you this right now, and we're not there yet, but this will be a topic for February when the trade deadline happens. Clarkson and Thompson are going to be brought up. And it's going to be interesting. We can't answer those questions now, okay? We can't. The way Thompson is playing, Clarkson too, but especially Thompson plays like this for the next 3 months. There are going to be teams lining up to be like, we could use it. He's played in the finals. He's had long playoff runs. This guy's ready.
It's tough.
It's gonna be tough. Because right now I'd be like, hell no. In fact, I think we need to start talking to Thompson about re-upping with him.
It's hard to get rid of. I mean, it's hard with Jordan Clarkson too. Coach is calling him JC. He's already got a nickname for him.
I know. Clarkson, I think, is going to be tougher not to trade.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Are not sniffing the playoffs. Now the Cavs are sniffing the playoffs. I don't think either one of those guys will be traded. But if they aren't, Thompson's gonna be interesting. I think Thompson. I can't believe I'm saying this. Boy, what a year ago things now changed. Thompson is gonna be hard to trade no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
If he continues to play like this, Jared, it is gonna be hard to trade him. Hard. He has become a big player on this team.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
Clarkson's different.
At this point, Andy, I'd hate to see any of them go. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll live that in February. We're not there yet. Let's live that in February. But anyways, great start. And again, I want to repeat, this is a good, we said the litmus test. Here's a litmus test for the Cavs. Philly tomorrow night at Philly, Miami at home, Philly on Sunday with a back-to-back game going back to New York on Monday. Those are 4 games. You could easily see them going 4. I would love a split here, 2-2. I don't care which 2 games you win. And then on the back end the following week, they go to Dallas with a back-to-back at home against Portland. Again, these are tough 2-week stretches here for the Cavs. And we'll have to see where it goes,
Yeah.
We'll have to see where it goes. It'll be interesting to see. All right. So the Cavs are playing well. By the way, for people who have not seen, there's a wonderful article right now on assistant head coach Laura Gottlieb. And for anyone who has not read it, check it out. It's a great read. Really dumb. Jackie McMullen wrote it. It's a really nice read. She does, the Cavs are really, really, they are just advancing far this year. It's amazing in a short run how different the Cavs feel in a year. It's amazing. Laura Gottlieb, good article to read. All right, college football and the Buckeyes. All right, I think everybody knows by now the Chase Young story. The Buckeyes I think they just scored again against Maryland. They maybe get them back in
now
basketball.
194.
Yeah. Good news. Rutgers is coming in to help stabilize an 80-point game, hopefully. There won't even be a line for that game. That's how much it's gonna. That's how much Vegas takes to take seriously the Rutgers Scarlet Knights right now. All that to be said, this whole Chase Young thing, there's been a lot of debate. It'll be interesting to see what the NCAA does and all that stuff. Rutgers and Maryland, we all know. But those 2 following games, the Nittany Lions, who did lose to Minnesota, which we'll get to in a second, and then Michigan. Jared, those are the real games coming up here for the Bucks.
Yeah. So I forget the kid who came in to fill in for Chase Young. Can't remember his name. But at the end of the day, the Buckeyes had like seven sacks, I think, on the day.
Mm-hmm.
Will they be able to survive it if he's suspended through the season? Yeah, absolutely. They will. They absolutely will. But that said, the NCAA, the arbiters of what these kids can do, has just gotten to the Chase Young thing is really bugging me the more I think about it, right? Taking a loan, paying the loan back, whatever. Anywhere else, for any other student at a university who is struggling, who needs to make some money, who needs to take, nobody else anywhere in this country faces these types of stipulations, regulations, and control over who they are, who they can talk to, what they do, all of those things, like these student athletes, specifically college football players. I don't like it, Andy. We can sit here and we can talk about, well, the rules are the rules. Well, the rule. Listen, you know how many stupid fucking rules and laws there are on the books done by stupid fucking legislatures written up by stupid people with only their own selves in mind. So don't give me these are the rules things. Don't be these are the rules guy or girl. Don't be that person. The rules are bullshit. The rules need to be changed. This should not be happening to these students, any of them. I'm not saying all of this just because I'm a homer. I got to clarify that. I would defend any of these kids for these situations.
Sure.
It makes me sick to my stomach. Sick to my stomach that this is what the NCAA does. It's all bullshit. 100% bullshit. Sorry. Bullshit. They make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars on these kids' backs. Don't give me any more shit about the rules. Well, the rules. Don't give me any of that shit. Fix it. Because this is unacceptable. And it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I agree. And I think the bigger thing here, that's the reason why this judgment came out, the Chase Young, getting to Chase Young for a second, there's still an investigation going on and whatever that means too.
Investigation.
Right now. Ari Wasserman brought it up and,
go to hell.
I know. Exactly. We'll have to see what all that breaks down, shakes down. But, I'm not going to try to trump what he just says. I do agree with you. The bigger thing, not the bigger thing, the thing on the field, though, is too now. Again, Rutgers, who cares? But Penn State, Michigan, those are big games. And he needs to play in those games if you're going to big places. There's all sorts of – the weird thing about this story is usually there seems to be a concise, like, hey, it's going to be 2 games. Or, hey, it's going to be, 4 games or 2 games or 1 game. This has been all over the place. I've heard some say 1 to 4. There's a report on ESPN said 4. Now I don't know. It's just all over the place.
Even Herbie's on Twitter writing in caps, and still I'm not getting an answer.
I know. It's just hard to say. So I think everybody's gone pins and needles because we all know, again, this is I hate saying it's a bye week, and then you figure it out from there.
It's a bye week.
It is a bye week. I mean, Rutgers is that bad. All that to be said, this does play a role into a bigger thing here. Chase Young had a chance to win the Heisman. I think he still does. However, the way Joe Burrow and other athletes will come up here in the next few weeks, it's taken away from that from Chase Young. And that's where I do feel bad for Young because Chase had a real opportunity for this. I don't think it's dead, but Jared, I do think now, looking what Joe did in the LSU game with Alabama, it's going to take some hits here.
I'm not Mr. Conspiracy Theorist, but timing is a little strange for all this. Timing's a little strange.
It is a little strange, and I will I've been around college football a lot through what I do for a living, and I think your appropriate words there. Timing was interesting. There's a lot of dirty business that goes behind the scenes that you could do a whole podcast on.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very dirty. And it's very, very, very bad. And I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a
world. It is a world fueled on hypocrisy.
That and money.
I can tell you stories all the way back to Maurice Claret and stories that I had heard.
Yeah, me too. And I'll tell you this true.
That were scary and off the record. And I don't even want to talk about them on the air, to be honest with you.
All that to be said, I hope Chase Young finds a way to get back on the field because I think his story is a good one. I don't think he's a bad kid. I think he's a good kid. And I think he needs to get a chance to play. Again, the thing I feel bad for Chase Young is missing these 2 games. It doesn't ruin it, but it takes a little bit of that Heisman run out a little bit. He's going to need to get that mojo back if he wants to win that. But that's awards, and I don't know how much awards mean to anybody anymore. It's hard to tell. But, Chase wanted that. I think it's going to be a little harder for him to get. All that to be said, the Buckeyes are still in good shape. They're going to beat Rutgers. And then we come back to Penn State. And alluding on Penn State, that was one of the more entertaining games on Saturday, back-to-back. The noon and 3:30 game with Alabama LSU was great. But Minnesota, give them credit, tip the cap. Fleck and coach. That team was ready to rock and roll. They did a nice job in that game. Penn State had the better athletes, but they couldn't score, again, inside the red zone. A big problem for Franklin and those guys. And I got to give credit to where credit's due to Fleck. I mean, that team came out focused. They came out ready to go. And if they can ever run the table, get to the Big Ten championship game, as crazy as it sounds, they were ever to beat Ohio State, they have a chance to make the playoff.
Yeah.
Minnesota's given themselves a door to get in. Now, they got to go to Wisconsin. They got to go to Iowa. They got to win these games. But Jared, the door's open. I was impressed by Minnesota. That was
Think about that. Think about that. What we're talking about right now. The fact that Minnesota could possibly get into that tournament.
They're in.
Alabama will be left out. Would you ever have thought you would even be talking in that manner?
No, and to the Alabama game, Nick Saban teams usually don't do this, but they had turnovers.
Yeah.
They had bad penalties. They had bad timeouts. That was the first half of Alabama. It wasn't just with the players. It was too many men on the field, interceptions happening. There was all sorts. Alabama had one of those halves where it's like, am I watching the Nick Saban Alabama team, or are we going back to the Shula Alabama days in the 2000s? I mean, this was just a funk. Alabama did not look prepared for the first half. Now, the second half, they got their act together and they came back, but LSU was clearly the better team. LSU was more ready to play. Joe Burrow makes a world difference on this team. And for all the talent, Alabama's got great talent. Those wide receivers are very talented. LSU made every big play. I'm calling Joe cool as he was. He made a big first down on a running play. He made every big play. LSU and Ohio State would be a wonderful game. Now, there's a long road to get there for both teams.
I'm scared, brother.
LSU and Ohio State would be a wonderful game. I do think Alabama is laying in the weeds, though. And here's a one warning I'd give to everybody. The way things are breaking out, Oklahoma, they barely beat Iowa State. They play Baylor next weekend. Oregon's looming around, and then you got the Georgia too. It's still a good chance I think Alabama's going to make this thing. And I just think people need to keep that in mind. There's still time. There's still games left to be played.
Yeah, you never thought. I mean, it's no sooner that Penn State's in the top four, Franklin does what Franklin does. So there you go.
Yeah, I know.
Knew it. Knew it was coming. Didn't feel right even seeing them in the top four. Didn't even feel right.
Yeah.
Didn't feel right. So, I mean, the bottom line is we've talked about this for a long time now and early on in the season. And I remember asking you, is LSU for real? Because I got a feeling that they're for real. Shit. Here we are.
And they've won at Texas. They have beaten Auburn. They've beaten Florida.
Yeah.
They have won at Tuscaloosa. They have to go I know it's not the normal Ole Miss. The Ole Miss is down this year, but they go to Ole Miss. They have earned their right. I guess what I'm trying to say is I think LSU has actually earned the right to be number one this week. I think.
Agreed. Absolutely.
I think LSU's really done a lot here. The only thing, again, that and Clemson's back in, so that they needed to be. Clemson should be in this thing anyway. So we all knew they were going to be in. But the bigger thing here is, to me, that I took out of that game is Alabama is not the Alabama we're used to, but LSU is also, to what you just said, is also true. They have really elevated their game, and both games are wonderful. Minnesota, Penn State, and LSU, Alabama are great games on Saturday. Really, really good college football.
Tua looked bad.
Until the second half, yes. Second half, he played really well.
Yeah. It was too much to come out of that.
But first half, he didn't. And by the way, he is playing injured. But that said, he did not have a sharp first half.
I forgot about the injury. Yep.
Yeah, but he had a high ankle sprain, and it showed. By the end of the game, he could barely walk. Yeah. But all that to be said, I think now it is really Joe Burrow's award to lose, unless Chase Young can really catch up here and do some things. But I think the Heisman's is. That win was memorable. It's gonna be hard to take. I don't know. Joe Burrow really did a lot to win the Heisman on Saturday. He really did. That was an impressive win. It was really, really big time stuff. Georgia Auburn this week. Again, there's some other games here and there, but Georgia Auburn's a big game to watch. And then I'll do my 1 minute on the Irish. They whipped on Duke. As I was running around, I heard someone say, I can see Duke give them a game unless it's basketball. That's not happening. The Irish did a nice job. The Irish, though, have their tricky annual Navy game. Navy's ranked for people who don't look around. So that's a tricky game for the Irish. And all the Irish are playing for now is the New Year's Day Bowl or the Liberty Bowl at this point. That's really what all they're doing. But all that to be said, it was a great college football weekend. And I hope, to what you're saying, Chase Young comes back because that's good for him. It's good for the sport of football. And it needs to happen. Well, let's see. Time will tell.
Yeah. I think as we sit right now, end of the season, we're going to get that game, LSU Ohio State. We'll have to see whether it's the first game or the national championship game. It's going to happen though. Those are your teams. I don't know how it's going to end, but those are your teams.
I would not sleep on Clemson. Clemson, Ohio State would be.
Ohio State knows better than to sleep on Clemson.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Clemson, Ohio State would be a great game. I think Clemson's right there. The only thing is that Clemson hasn't played anybody. It's hard to get a litmus test. I think those three teams are all there. I think Alabama's for the. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that. I've learned to bite my tongue on Alabama. Alabama can get back in there and win the whole thing too.
Well, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Cleveland and Beyond. On Twitter @CLE and Beyond. Shoot us an email, andyandjared@gmail.com. Follow our website, andyandjared.net or clevelandandbeyond.com. You can also subscribe to the podcast anywhere podcasts are found: Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, all that good stuff. Ask your Alexa device to play Andy and Jared, Cleveland and Beyond. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson. This podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out, waitingfornextyear.com. Andy and Jared, Cleveland and Beyond. Browns big Thursday night. You heard it here first. Beat the fucking Steelers.
Just win, baby. Just win.
Take care, everyone.